Welcome to Classic Books Recaps, where the greatest stories ever written are brought back to life in minutes. Whether you're revisiting a favorite or discovering a new classic, you've come to the right place. Remember to hit subscribe and join us on a journey through the greatest novels ever written. Now, let's dive into today's story. Anne of Green Gables by Lucy Maud Montgomery. Welcome to the charming village of Avonlea on Prince Edward Island. It's the early 1900s, and at a peaceful farm called Green Gables, siblings Marilla and Matthew Cuthbert decide it's time to adopt a boy to help out on the farm. But when shy Matthew arrives at the train station, he's surprised to find not a boy, but a thin, red-haired girl with bright eyes and an even brighter imagination. Her name? Anne Shirley, with an E. Matthew, gentle and kind-hearted, is instantly taken by her chatter and spirit. But Marilla, more practical and stern, is not so sure. They hadn't planned on a girl. Yet, something about Anne's charm and vulnerability starts to soften Marilla's heart. This girl is unlike anyone Avonlea has ever met. She names the pond near the house the Lake of Shining Waters and calls a simple tree-lined road the White Way of Delight. Her imagination colors everything. But her passion sometimes gets her into trouble. On her first day at Green Gables, she explodes with fury at a neighbor, Mrs. Rachel Lynde, for calling her skinny and homely. Marilla is mortified, and deeply sorry, apologizes in such a dramatic and sincere way that even Rachel Lynde is taken aback. It's clear she is different, and that's what makes her so special. Anne soon starts school in Avonlea, where her fiery spirit meets its match, Gilbert Blythe, a clever boy who dares to call her Carrots because of her red hair. Enraged, and breaks her slate over his head in front of the whole class. She refuses to speak to Gilbert for years, even though he tries many times to apologize. Meanwhile, she becomes close friends with Diana Barry, her bosom friend and kindred spirit. Together, they share secrets, play pretend, and get into all sorts of scrapes. One day, she invites Diana over for what's supposed to be a proper tea. But in a terrible mix-up, she accidentally serves Diana currant wine instead of raspberry cordial, and Diana ends up going home drunk. Mrs. Barry is furious and forbids the girls from seeing each other, which breaks Anne's heart. But months later, she saves Diana's younger sister when she falls seriously ill, and Diana's mother finally realizes Anne's worth, and their friendship is restored. Anne's adventures are endless. She nearly drowns during a pretend play on a river. She accidentally dyes her hair green while trying to turn it black. She bakes a cake with liniment oil instead of vanilla. Life at Green Gables is rarely quiet with her around, but never dull. Over time, she grows more responsible. Marilla begins to see her not as a handful, but as a gift. Even the villagers, once skeptical of Anne's eccentricities, begin to adore her. Anne's brilliance in school shines through, and she begins to compete fiercely with Gilbert Blythe, who becomes her academic rival, even if she still won't speak to him. Both are determined students, and when they both win scholarships to Queen's Academy, it marks the start of a more mature chapter in her life. She leaves Avonlea for the first time, full of hopes and dreams of becoming a teacher and writer. At Queens and blossoms. She makes new friends, wins awards, and even begins to reconsider her grudge against Gilbert. When he later gives up a teaching position so she can stay close to Green Gables and care for Marilla, it's a gesture that doesn't go unnoticed. She has changed. She's still imaginative and passionate, but more thoughtful and grounded now. She returns to Avonlea not just as a girl with dreams, but as a young woman ready to give back. After she comes back home, tragedy strikes. Matthew dies suddenly of a heart attack, and Marilla's eyesight begins to fail. She becomes devastated, but stays strong. She gives up her Queen's scholarship and dreams of university to stay at Green Gables and help Marilla. Gilbert, hearing this, gives up his own school nearby so she can take his post. Touched by his generosity, and finally lets go of her grudge. They walk home together, at peace. A friendship begins, maybe something even more. As the sun sets over Green Gables, Anne stands on the threshold of adulthood. She's come a long way from the lonely orphan with fiery hair and a wild imagination. She has a home, a purpose, and a future she's ready to shape. I don't know what lies around the bend, Anne says, but I'm going to believe that the best does. And with that, her story begins anew. If you enjoyed this recap of Anne of Green Gables, don't forget to like and subscribe. And hit the bell for more classic books recaps. Let us know which story you'd like next in the comments.